sisters and everyone. I am actually very surprised that this is happening because I mean, look at how I dress. I know my mother is always saying, please, I'm like, mother, please. That's easy. So, I mean, I least expected that this was going to happen. I'm just coming to. I came from work. I came from work to just say hello and run away. My name is Misi, and of course, I've been in media for 11 years. And I think that by and large, it's been a very wonderful experience. One of the things I learned, or that I have learned over the years, is that one of the things I have learned over the years is picture quality. I've worked in different media houses, from Oshogo to Lagos, and you see there's something called standard definition. You know, so there are some TVs that you will see, and picture will be blurry. The way it used to be like black and white. The way NTA looks now, at least I'm not sure. I've not checked them out recently, so I'm not sure if they are upped their game. But I think that the way they look, that regular NTA, that standard definition. Now there is high definition, that's HD, and then there is full HD. All of these things are terms to tell you the clarity of TV picture quality. Now there is 12 Mbps, that's 12 megabytes per second. There is 6 Mbps, and so on and so forth. Now for full HD TVs, you get, say, let's say 6 Mbps. Let's say 6 Mbps is good enough. That's where you see places like CNN, Al Jazeera, what other channels are there, BBC, that are very clear. And you're like, okay, so if I tune to my local station, it's looking blurry. But if I tune to BBC and the likes, it's looking sharp and all of that. That sharpness, it is Mbps. It is the what's it called now? The metrics for their broadcast. That's what makes it clear or not. Now let's bring that down to taking pictures. So I was telling Ms. Choma over there, when she gave me her phone, I said, I should do it this way. Now there's a temptation to believe that this is the best way to hold your phone when you want to record, but that's not true. The phones that are being produced now are actually very equipped. You can shoot, that my phone right there is a Samsung A71. As my mom is recording, I can decide to put this video on YouTube and it will still maintain quality because she's recording on landscape. The same goes for your pictures. Now there's something called pixels. That's the standard unit of measuring pictures. So you get, I'm used to using whiteboard when I teach, so my hand is itching for a board. So there is, so you get things like 720 by 720, 1080 by 1920, depending on what you are doing. Let's go to the settings of our phone cameras, please. Yes, just open your phone camera.
It's God that brought this here.
Seriously? I know, right? So if you don't know where the settings are, just let me know. I'll show you. So
that's my 2 legs.
This is the setting of your own camera. Open your camera, Ma, by the way, you have a fantastic phone. I told you, you need to know how to use this phone. This is your setting button right here for your camera. Right there. This is setting for the phone. For the camera. Yes. So, for both of you, look at it. You see, record video 1080 at 7 and 1080 at 30 FPS. 1080 is 1080 pixels at 30 frames per second. FPS is frames per second. So it means that every video you record is standard. It can go on TV. Okay. So this is how you know if you are taking good pictures. No. I'm talking about iPhones for now. So this is how you know. This is how you know if you're taking good pictures. The question is, can it stay on YouTube and the quality will not drop? Can it go on TV? If they pick your phone and they say, Afefi, you got sorry, television, will you be able to put it? I'm sorry. If they pick your phone and they say, I want to put what you have taken on your phone and put it on television, will it be NTA standard or BBC standard? That should be the question. So the clarity of your picture is very dependent on the frames per second, and it's also dependent on the pixels. There's something called pixelating. You take some, I'll do an example. You realize that there are some pictures you took and you uploaded on Facebook years ago. If you open those pictures today on your new standard phones and you zoom it, you realize that it's looking blurry. That's what is called pixelation. It means that the pixels in the picture are expanding just because you are trying to expand it to see more. And the more you expand, so think of it as a cloth. This cloth has tiny fibers that we cannot see. If there is a tear in any part of this dress and I pull it, that thread might be the only reason why I will be naked, because if I continue to pull it, it's the same thing with pictures. So pictures are like, can I get a pen and a paper? So with pictures, I'm sorry, I'm very graphic with the explanation. So let's assume that this is a picture right here. Every picture comes either in landscape or portrait. So let's just say that this is standard 1 by 1. 1 by 1 is square, the entire thing. So let's say that this is a picture. Let me draw something. Something like this, yeah? Now, when you're trying to zoom in on your devices, you realize that this place start getting bigger. It will get so big to a point where, thank you, if possible, you start seeing like the tiny squares that make up the picture. Those tiny squares are called pixels. So the number of those squares that you have in the picture is what makes the picture, clear or dull. Oh, that's what makes the picture clear or dull. So by the time you zoom in to a point where, you know that there are some pictures that you would zoom in and you'll still be seeing the clarity of the picture. It's because the pixels packed in that picture is a lot. So with the benefits of editing, because I do some editing on the side, so I also paint. When I want to set my canvas on any of my digital devices, in fact, this is a very good explanation. This is a better explanation. So when I want to do that, one of the things I do is I set my frame to 2000 by 2000 pixels. Sometimes 3000 by 3000 pixels. That picture, till Jesus comes, will maintain clarity. It will maintain clarity. So I'm currently working on a piece. Now this is a 2000 by 2000 pixel, right? If I zoom this guy, you can still see. You can still see this guy. See how clear this icon is. It is still clear. Why? 2000 by 2000. If I zoom back, you will see it as tiny parts of the design. That's how clear your pictures should be. Like, at least, because we're in the market, we're in the business of selling the things that we do. Now, the time has passed that we take pictures of cake. That's another thing. Positioning. I'm coming back to the settings. Time has passed where you take pictures of your cake like this. It won't sell that. There's something called foreground, and there's something called background. Background, you know, it's easy. What is behind? But you see, there's something called foreground. You know, there are times that you want to take pictures with your phone, and your phone focuses on one object and leaves the other one out. You need a tiny object. It doesn't have to be something fancy. There's something called props, like maybe one small flower somewhere, one small board somewhere. There are 3 and 10 props you can use for your case. Now, when you position your camera, regardless of, so sometimes you see people take pictures like this, and you're wondering, it's because there's something they need to look out for. So when you position your camera this way, and you're trying to take the pictures of your cake should, the foreground objects, let's assume this is a cake. Let's assume this is a cake. Let me do it here. Let's assume this is a cake, right? You want to take pictures of this cake. The foreground object should be just somewhere here. We don't need this guy, but we need this guy to take the disfocus away, so that if the camera is focusing fully on this guy and showing us the beauty of this guy.
Okay.
So what makes the difference between the pictures you take like this and pictures you take like this is called detailing. Sometimes the background may be very busy. There are some cameras that are very smart. It will blur out the background. But you don't want to do that all the time. You want to be creative without blurring out the background.
Okay.
Such that your picture will still stand. Because sometimes you see some pictures that the cake is standing on its own, the entire background is blurred, and it's looking like, what's going on with this picture? So anything you don't want to see in the background of your cake should not be there. I would even recommend a clean workstation for taking pictures of cakes. A clean workstation, it might be a small table in the corner with something there, a wallpaper, a little prop somewhere there that will consistently, that's shaping, or that's where you are going. There's the settings of the phone. So man, look at your phone. Oh, this is very beautiful. So your phone can scan QR codes, but that's not the message. Now, auto HDR. What phone is this, man? Samsung. Samsung phones, iPhones are very top-notch phones. If you have a Samsung phone, you have an iPhone, you have a very top-notch phone. Now, if your phone is not Samsung and it falls in the range of, say, Nokia,
Oppo,
Infinix tries, Techno tries,
Oppo.
I'm sorry. Because of brand issues, I would not say that Oppo is not good, but if you want to take your picture game seriously, I don't know. But I've not used an Oppo before, jokes apart, so I really don't know how the picture quality is. So, but with this phone, I'm sorry, I love you. So, auto HDR means that it's not even giving you specifications of, oh, do you want to shoot in 1080 by 1920 and all of that. But let's look at shooting methods.
Okay, are we together on this?
No, it's not the same phone, so I need to go around. Are you a Samsung?
I'm also
Even
using
Samsung
Samsung.
has
Different.
Okay. Yeah, because different models. Yes. So auto HDR already has your camera and
You don't get your
now
own.
let's
Yeah.
oh,
I did 4K by. Is 4K too much?
4K is like
I did
the
4K
highest
at
level you
60.
can go.
Why is it giving me 4K at 60? That's the FPS is low, right?
no 60 frames per second is not low.
No?
60 frames per second is not low.
It's not. Okay, so what I took with it is like out of this world, really.
So let's say that
What are you doing?
this guy.
Tell me something.
No,
Okay,
see,
right here.
see.
Now you see,
I
now
know
you see
me,
how
I
it
did
looks
get
up.
it.
Okay,
I
you
did
can
get
see
it.
Let's
them
hear what
in
she's
the picture.
saying.
This is not a clean picture to take of your face. If we now decide to switch this thing around and we go this way, and then we go this way. Then you also have to be, in fact, you know, sorry, I forgot this today. Let's just use So there's something also about lighting. There's something about lighting that makes your pictures good or bad.
Yeah.
Even if it has the sharpest pixel. You cannot turn your camera to the source of light. Your picture will not come good. Instead, you follow the source of light to take your pictures. So you put your camera in the same line, the same angle as the source of light. So this guy is here. This is our source of light, the window. I want to take this picture. Here we go.
Here we are.
Wow. Beautiful. So just if you post this one, it looks it's because different. But if it was cake, look at where I'm going to use your phone. iPhone is fast. Oh, it knows. Samsung, it knows.
You want to see that? Wow. Ah, oh my fine, bro.
So we are all going to use our phones to snap this guy. We are all going to use our phones to snap this guy just to test out what we just picked up about using our phones to snap the good pictures. So your phone should never stand like this. This is called portrait. This is called portrait. Vertical is portrait. Horizontal is landscape. Either it's a picture or a video, it always has to be like this for the best picture quality. So here we go. Mother, the job as the camera woman.
I'm doing it.
Please come here.
Ah.
I love you.
You got the next part right now.
So
You for teachers.
Me? I don't know anything.
You know, yeah.
The only one she taught me that I beko is that I can snap with my picture and it will be fine. That's the only thing I know. Very beautiful. This
meanwhile, if I give this. Now, can you tell me the difference between this cake, so this is our cake right now, this cake and this cake? Two different things. So if you put your cake on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media you are, I'm not telling you a market, I'm just take a picture. But if you do this, two different things entirely. Exactly, because this makes you feel like, oh, there's detail. Then there's an angle at which the light is hitting it, that it is not hitting this one. So you see, this like light, shadow, all of those things will work for you. Yes, you are in a dark room. Let's assume that your workstation is a dark place. There's no source of light. There's just maybe one long warehouse and you're not sure what to do. There are other things you can try. For example, if you have another phone or a touch, as funny as it sounds, you just need someone to hold the touch at a certain angle. Sometimes even if the person is holding the touch above the cake like this, just make sure you are not abandoning your detailing. Your detailing goes a billion ways to sort out your camera pictures problems. Please let me go through every possible setting so that we know, because I want us to take this picture. Then for foregrounding,
don't put it yet because it's not yet cold.
Okay.
So it's bending.
Oh, okay. For foregrounding, I need something to. Alright, I need this guy.
Because of the color or just anything?
So the background is dull. And I need to put something there. Remember, the focus is the cake, not the things at the back. So I can choose to do this. So that we can all see the outcome of what I'm trying to snap. It's bigger. There we go. So I'm still maintaining my source of light, right?
Oh, no, it's eating your NB seriously, right?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
It will. All right. It depends on what you're trying to achieve, ma'am. Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes just because of what you're trying to achieve.
Ṣé mo ráyè rí?
But they use them.
Alright. So, yes, I know that they feel like, who has time for all of this?
You must have been.
And your mommy talk and forth.
But look at this. If I like, I should zoom to eternity. You still see what you need to quality is maintained. Quality is maintained. Landscape. Let me do portrait. And let's see how it turns out. Now, some phones are very good. Because of picture quality, they are very good. It will look good. But your question will now be, was it detailed enough? Is it clear enough? If we zoom, at what rate, at what point will the pixels start dropping? By the way, ma, for the sake of your memory card, and because it's pictures, don't bother about 4K pictures. That's when you need cameras like Canon, Nikon, all those. I see a head. So you're not doing photo shoots for your cake, you're just doing it. So you can still 1080 by 1080p at 30 frames per second still works for you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, that is the only picture you did. Oh, again.
So look at portrait mode. Portrait mode does not allow you to cut out unnecessaries. See the space, the extra space. We really don't need it. See, so there's something about space. There's something called negative space. There's something about space that enhances your picture or sculpts your picture. If there's too much space, it takes attention away from the cake. By the time you sell the cake, well, so how about we just put all the attention back to the cake? So it takes all the attention away from the cake. See, some of us take our pictures like this. If we zoom, it will be fine. No, but you see that it's already blurry. I never even go far. It's already blurry. And then we place. See, we can still see the detail. That's the simple trick. It's a very fantastic picture. So before I go, let me go through all our phone settings.
Yes.
And then I want us to all take pictures of this guy with details.
No handshaking. My biro, please. Sis, my biro.
So because your own phone carries what? The Techno has a
Sister Laraya violated. No, that's what I'm saying. I said this is what we do.
Yes.
Now for Instagram, blah blah blah, some of those social media platforms have specifications for the type of pictures you should take. But to make it easy for you, because if you take a picture for techno phones now, for instance, you will see they'll give you option 1 by 1, 4 by 3, 16 by 9, 18 by 9. 16 by 9, 18 by 9. All of those options, just the best you can go for on your phone is either a 16 by 9. Just if your phone gives you option of 16 by 9, 4 by 3, just do 16 by 9. Out of 16 by 9, you can get 4 by 3. Out of 4 by 3, you can get 1 by 1. But if you do 1 by 1 and then you want to post and you realize that what you need is a 16 by 9, you can't fill up those pixels. So we are setting this guy back to 16 by 9. And then, so there are some phones that come with things like beauty, panorama, super pixels, there are some. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's just stick with normal, because some of those phones, it's if you have a camera training, you can manipulate it. If you don't have a camera training, it spoils the entire work that you need to do. So what we are doing now is a normal photo. The setting is good. And hey, I forgot to mention flash. There are some of us that our phone's flash is set on automatic. Please don't do that. The only reason you would want to use a flash is best. One of the key principles of shooting with a camera is to shoot as close to natural light as possible. Mommies, are you here? As close to natural light as possible.
Ring light.
Fantastic. If you have ring light is soft light. So it's closer to natural light. That's why the principle is as close to natural light as possible. If you have a hard light, talking about kino flows, all those media setup lights, those ones will enhance and chase shadows and enhance the room, not the cake. If you have LED lights, you might want to bounce off your LED light to the ceiling to cast a natural feel across the room, not directly on the object. Because hard light changes, you may not see it immediately, but it changes the interaction of light and shadow on your pictures. That's why you see some cakes, you can see one part of it fully lit, and then the other part is a bit dark. It's because somebody was like, but I bet on us, let light shine. No, you have to manipulate light to be as close to natural source as possible. So if you have a ring light, fantastic. You can absorb it. It's hardwired. So if you have ring light, if you have LED light, bounce it off. If the ceiling is painted white, bounce it off the ceiling. If the ceiling is not painted white, bounce it at an angle of 45 degrees. So at least it's just casting, it's doing the light like this, like an umbrella, as against like this on the cake. So, alright. So your phone, so for flash, we have natural light. If we want to improve on the image of this, our cake, our makeshift cake, I want to show us something about how the influence of light affects pictures. So we took this without drawing the blinds earlier on. I want to take it with the blinds drawn and show us the difference. Look at this picture. Brighter. Apparently. Now look at the other one too. Look at the other one too without light. Without the blind. It's nice. It looks nice. Yes. But does it look as nice as this guy? You can see all the crystals of this one shining. That's how light interacts with all the pictures we take. So sometimes it's best to have enough light than to not have light at all. But what I did the first time was to explain that even if you don't have light, you can still achieve something. So you can use detailing to make up for not having plenty light. But if you have light, why not? So, Ma, your phone is ready. Let's take your picture. I want to see how you interpret this with the light. Okay. Yes.
Grandma, have you taken your own?
Then I want to test something, Ma, when you are done with taking that picture, you don't have to go down. You can pull a seat, you can bend down, just make sure you have details. Make sure you are cutting. This guy is bad business for us. So let's make sure this guy is not in the picture. Then Ma, after you're done taking the first one without flash, let's try taking it with flash. There's something I want to explain. So same goes for you, Ma. Take one without flash, take one with landscape, please, Ma.
Landscape,
Ma, landscape.
not straight.
Sorry. Sorry.
Jama, see projects, take picture. Take a picture.
All the things I don't like doing exercise.
You know that? Do you understand? That trading exercise, that's how we're doing now.
That one then.
You are cheating.
No,
Go there and sit down.
No, this is I'm taking the project.
Okay.
So this is why you change your own.
This is the thing that
Change it one by one. You change it one by one. I'm going to let you do one by one so you can see the difference. So one by one. Just normal.
I use my project.
Not sleeping. And then please wait till Now, there are some phones that have options of more. ones that have options of more that will allow you to select how, if you want the picture to have a preset of shadow that not look like, you know, you want to edit it in a studio. There's some phones like that. But this one doesn't have that. Just to be honest. So photo.
Panorama, parallax.
Panorama, on the other hand, is a fantastic tool for a cake maker, actually. If you have a full table of cakes, orders that you have taken, and you don't want to be doing, or you just want to be dramatic, it's not for photo ops, it's just for drama. You just want to be dramatic. Then you can use panorama. Panorama is you start by snapping the shutter at this end, and then you move the arrow until it stops. It will take the entire line of cakes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes.
This is different.
Yes, that.
Let's do panorama for this table.
Or not this thing. This one is not that. Was the window in there?
Now, this is a Samsung phone. This is beautiful. You see, this Samsung has a setting that allows you to zoom out, like to be very last. Like, see, so it gives you more options to play with. So, with your own phone, you might want to start with zoomed out pictures before you now take a close one. For two reasons. It gives you room to play in terms of light interacting with your object. So now let's go take a picture. Let's see.
Which one?
All the boy